going to talk about potatoes. We're going to talk about potatoes. And here's why I want to talk about potatoes. When I first started gardening, like the big gardening last spring, I was limiting myself. I was like, well, I won't grow potatoes, I won't grow corn, I won't grow this, I won't grow that. And then I decided, actually, I'm gonna grow everything. I'm gonna look to see how everything grows. I wanna experience every single thing so that when I go to plant my garden the following season, I kind of get it. I have an idea of how does celery grow? I never saw it grow before in the ground. What do onions do? You know, what does all this stuff look like? How do potatoes grow? So here's what I thought. I thought you had to spend a lot of money ordering seed potatoes. And so I did. I spent a somewhat ridiculous amount of money ordering seed potatoes from a really reputable, seed store. I buy a ton of seeds for them, and they were one of the few places that still had potatoes left because I was a little late in my planting when I made this big discovery that I was going to plant everything. So I did that, and this is like a French variety, like a red potato. I ended up growing about 80 pounds of potatoes, and I think I spent $60. That math doesn't work out. So I can buy a huge 50-pound bag of potatoes for $60 at my farm, my local organic farm. They get them from the Northeast Kingdom in Vermont. They're delicious potatoes. So you can see, right? Like if I'm growing my own potatoes, I should be not spending that kind of money. So I was like, oh, well, you know, I'll have my own seed potatoes next year. That's great. Now, in my compost bin from that bag of potatoes from Northeast Kingdom, I had the potato skins from mashed potatoes in the compost, which started to grow shoots from the eyes. And I thought, oh my goodness, these look just like the potatoes growing in the garden. So I very carefully dug some up and I moved them over to the potager garden. And lo and behold, they grew some of the most beautiful potatoes. Huge, gorgeous, buttery, golden, I didn't bring one, potatoes. I think we've eaten most of them because I only planted two little potato skins shooting up. Got the most incredible yield from that. They weren't seed potatoes. It was a 50-pound bag for $60. I bought 2 of them over the course of the season. They fed us all winter. Well, those potatoes, I can't even tell you, they were just delicious. So I had these fancy, you know, little French, red, cute potatoes. Well, I spent so much money on them. So then I went to Trader Joe's. So I'd already grown my potatoes. They were all good. The plants were starting to die back. And I thought, I heard something about Christmas potatoes where you could just grow some late potatoes and harvest them around Christmas. And I thought, well, that's interesting. What potatoes do I use? You know, what do I use? And I thought, well, let me try this. Since these potatoes from Vermont worked, let me just grab some potatoes. So I went to Trader Joe's. I got a tiny little bag of little baby round potatoes. And I think it was like $3, okay? Now, like a quarter of that was $20 for seed potatoes when I was buying seed potatoes. So there's a whole bag. I used maybe half the bag, and I haven't seen it yet, but I have a feeling it's gonna be really, really good. So these are, you know, technically Christmas potatoes. We're gonna look at one bag together because I just want to see what happened. I want to show you what happened. So if you do grow potatoes in bags and you want to then save them for a while, you can just take them as is, move them into the garage, and you know, if you want to cover them with some straw or something, and then just let them stay in there. And then you've got your Thanksgiving potatoes or your Christmas potatoes. So I'm not disappointed in the seed potatoes. I'm just disappointed in the amount of money that I spent. So if you want to get, you know, certain varieties and that kind of thing, yeah, of course, buy your seed potatoes. But an organic potato that you can get at your market or farmer's market, it must be organic, can't be a conventional potato because they do stuff to it to make it not sprout. This is a potato that's been just, you know, it's been in the sunlight. These we need to eat first. But you know, it's starting to sprout. That's its job. Its job is to make a new potato. So I could plant this potato, right? So a conventional potato, they do something to ask it to not sprout. Well, so you're not going to grow that potato, most likely. And you probably don't want to. So get an organic, beautiful bunch of potatoes. And here's that, isn't that amazing? Just the skin that had the eye on it grew my best potatoes so far. I think that's just the coolest thing. So we're gonna go dump out the grow bag of these Christmas potatoes from Trader Joe's and see what happened. And then we'll weigh them. Okay, let's go. My dog is gonna be so mad that I'm not bringing her out with me. This is my huge, I believe it's a 20-gallon grow bag. You can get these online from garden stores, whatever. They're real, this brand, I can link it, is really tough. I have loved these bags a whole heck of a lot. These are my Trader Joe's Christmas potatoes. This is the Trader Joe's $3 bag of potatoes. I probably used half of them, so $1.50 in comparison to the ridiculous amount of money I spent on seed potatoes. Now, I don't know what's going on in here. I've been saving this for us, so let's figure it out. I'm just gonna clear off the tops here. You can see that there's this new growth here, so that's probably from one of the potatoes that was in here. It may have started to sprout, like one of the potatoes that grew. All right. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Wow. That's a nice looking potato. This is bigger than any of the potatoes that were in the bag. I forgot to bring a basket. All right, now this is just the top. These are some tiny little potatoes that cook up and they're very creamy and yummy and lovely. I'm gonna need to get my basket. I'll be back. I'm actually doing this in this spot because this is where my new, the babies, this is where my new garden bed is. And it's a perennial flower bed. And I can just throw the dirt right in here as I'm doing it. All right, so I'm just gonna start digging. I'll show you as I go. So this is about this, this is a little bigger, but this is about the size of the seed potatoes when I planted them. This is the organic, little cute Trader Joe's bag of potatoes. Already, that's pretty darn sweet. All right, so let's just start dumping them in the basket. Where will you be able to see? How about if we do that? All right, let me just dig a little further. Now, digging potatoes is one of the most fun things you can do in the garden because it's like, I don't know, you don't know what you're gonna get. It's like little treasures. This is the exact size the potatoes were that I planted. They were a very cute little variety. So I would say already I've gotten back what I planted. So I've already made my $1.50 back. I haven't even gone like deep at all. So I also, like, if I didn't want to know exactly what was here for the purpose of this video, I could just leave a bunch of these in and just let them be. I could just move this bag to the garage, and this would be my Christmas potatoes. All right, so that was a seed potato, I think. It's all mushy and gross. I mean, it's just fun. You just like put your hands in. I usually do this without gloves, but I have a ring on. I don't feel like taking it off. They just keep coming. You just keep finding them. All right, I think I'm gonna dump the dirt. But now that some of the potatoes are out, maybe I can just get it to dump. There we go. All right, so now we've got a lot of potatoes falling out. And I'm just happy to have this dirt in my garden. So I'm gonna finish dumping it, and then I'll show you what we've got. See here, get my basket, and we'll just start digging again. I'm sure the chicken will be happy to come help me spread this dirt. Okay, so it's not as much as I thought. However, for $1.50 from Trader Joe's, I don't know how much that's gonna be. We'll go weigh it. I would say that's, you know, the equivalent of buying 3 bags at the store, or so. Go back in the house. We're gonna weigh. Okay, so let's get that to 0 and dump these potatoes in. Do you want to guess? Anybody want to guess? All right, we got one on the floor. A few more in here. Little tiny guys. Little babies. What did we drop? Oh, we dropped that nice big one. I really liked this one. I couldn't believe how big that one was. All right, anyone want to guess? So basically 4 pounds of potatoes from one Trader Joe's bag. Not too shabby. I'm so used to being covered in dirt, and today I was like in an outfit that had no dirt on it, but now I feel more normal. Dirt under my fingernails, even though I put on gloves. Doesn't matter. All right, why won't this stay? Please stay, please stay. Maybe I'm loosening it instead of tightening it. That could be part of the problem. Yeah, it's not gonna stay. Okay, I'll hold it. So we've got our 4 pounds of potatoes. Now, if this was for Thanksgiving or Christmas, what a lovely little find to like tuck that in your in your garage or your cold storage, and then just go digging for treasure and get these fresh potatoes for that meal. You can say, I harvested these potatoes today in November, in December. I think that's a pretty cool thing. So next year, I'm going to try to stagger the potato harvests so that I'm not storing as many in the house. I'm not sure how that's even going to go. I ended up preserving most of our potatoes in the freezer last year, which is lovely. It just takes up a lot of space. So you want to store them in a cool place, you know, no light. You want to keep the light off of them. And you should get a pretty good go of it. And then they will start sprouting, and then you'll use a bunch of those for seed potatoes when you plant next. This is fun. All right. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.